Hey guys, welcome to the Ogden Nature Center. My name is Brent. I'm a teacher naturalist here. We're so excited to be part of SpiderFest this year. We want to say thank you to Antelope Island for allowing us to be part of this virtual experience. Today, we're talking all about tarantulas. And I've got one right in my hand. This is Aragog. She's a Chilean rose tarantula that's from South America. We're very lucky that she lives here at the Ogden Nature Center with us. So these guys are huge, right? Tarantulas can be found all over the world, in fact. They can be found in tropical environments in the Amazon rainforest. They can be found in arid and semi-arid environments like Utah, which is where we live. And there are over 1,000 documented species all over the world. So they're actually a somewhat common spider. Aragog, like most other spiders, has 8 legs. These 8 legs help her to run really quickly, catch her prey. She's also an invertebrate, just like insects. She's got an exoskeleton, which does not include a backbone or other bones. She also has 2 major body parts. The first one is the Cephalothorax, which is the head and thorax fused as one piece. And she also has her abdomen, which is the hind body part where all the guts are mainly. She's also venomous, like all spiders are actually. They use this venom to subdue their prey and then digest them. They drink them up like a milkshake, essentially. If you were to get bitten by a tarantula like this, it wouldn't send you to the hospital. It would still hurt, but you don't have to worry too much. I'd like to talk about tarantula adaptations. Chances are you've heard that word before, but if not, I'll define it. Adaptations are special body parts or special behaviors that animals and plants do to help them survive in their homes. So she's got those. Let's talk about those hairs first that you see all over her body. It's not hair like you have. This hair is made of chitin, which is what exoskeletons are made of. Your hair is made of keratin, so it's a different kind of protein that's all over the spider. These Setae, as they're called, are sensory organs actually. They help them to smell, feel vibrations, and some would argue helps them hear as well. Like most spiders too, they have spinnerets, which is on the bottom part of the abdomen there. Spinnerets help spiders to create silk. However, she doesn't create a web like other spiders. She lines her underground burrow with a silk platform instead. She can feel vibrations when prey comes by. It kind of trips an alarm system for her to run out of her burrow and catch her prey. She also has something called tarsal claws. You won't be able to see them on camera. They're actually really tiny, but it helps them to climb surfaces, climb substrates, and in the rainforest, climb trees, of course. Really cool adaptation to have. Her defenses, I think, are the most amazing that tarantulas have in general. Remember those setae we were talking about? Those hairs all over her body? If she's feeling scared, she can rub her legs together and flick those hairs off at a predator that's chasing her. I wonder how that would help her out. These hairs, in fact, have little barbs on them. So if a lizard was chasing her, it might irritate the scales. It might get in the lizard's eyes. The lizard might even inhale those setae, which is really, really painful, and the tarantula can get away in that case. If that doesn't work, the tarantula can rear up on her hind legs and look really, really intimidating and show off those big fangs that she has. So great defense mechanisms that are built into the tarantula's adaptations. Here in Utah, we do have a few species, as I mentioned before, about 3 or 4. The largest species is the desert blonde tarantula. It's about 6 inches in span. These guys aren't very easy to see, however. They're nocturnal. So you'd have to go out at nighttime with a flashlight in hopes of seeing one. And of course they live underground, as I mentioned before. if you really are eager to see a tarantula in the wild, which I am, you have to go out in autumn. So September or October are great times to look for tarantulas. That's because the males migrate to go and find a female to mate with. And it's really cool what they have to do. Once a male finds a female burrow, he will do something called palpal drumming. He used these appendages up front, they look like small legs, and he knocks them against her silk burrow. That tells the female, hey, I'm an attractive male. I can help us fertilize some eggs. If the female accepts him, she'll come out of her burrow and they will engage in a really special courtship display where they go face to face and the male will actually hold her fangs back and fertilize her. Pretty impressive courtship display. If he's lucky enough, he'll escape and he won't be eaten. If he's too slow about it, he can be cannibalized. He can be eaten. That's right. So that's why males don't live for a very long time. They can live for 2 or 3 years at the most, where females, like Aragog, can be 30 years old. Can you believe that? I just passed 30. It's a pretty long time. Now, believe it or not, these intimidating looking spiders do have some predators, like lizards, as I mentioned before. Birds love to chow down on them too. But the most formidable predator is the tarantula hawk. It's not actually a bird, as it might sound. It's a spider wasp. These spider wasps are parasitic. They will find a tarantula burrow using olfactory cues. Once they find that tarantula, they'll drag them out of the burrow and sting them, which paralyzes them. It doesn't kill them, it just paralyzes them, which is really important. Then, the tarantula hawk drags the tarantula all the way back to its nest, dumps it in there, and lays eggs on it. Once those eggs hatch, it feeds on the tarantula. And guess what? The tarantula is alive the entire time for this. So, kind of stinks to be a tarantula in this case. Okay, I had a chance to put Aragog away, but I want to introduce you to a different tarantula now, actually the heavyweight of the world. This is the Goliath bird-eating spider. This is Fang. Hey, Fang. And Fang lives in tropical environments in South America. So actually the most northern part of the continent is where you would find these guys. And they live underground. These burrows can be 1.5 meters deep, which is about as tall as me. About 6 foot. That's a huge burrow. And since they're so big, they can take down very, very large prey. They can take a bird down, as the name suggests, but it's a little less common than, say, a large lizard or even an amphibian like a frog or a salamander. Lucky for us, Fang left a molt behind. Molting is something a lot of animals do, like snakes, insects, and spiders. They get rid of their old skin and grow new skin to help them to continue to grow. Let's talk about this one in particular. When they go through this process, they go into their burrow and they pop off this top carapace here, the dorsal shield essentially, and they have to pull each individual leg out, which makes them very vulnerable to predation. That's why they need to be in a quiet, dark place. So, let's take a look at the anatomy of this amazing exoskeleton. It's got the 8 legs still, just like all spiders have. They're still intact. And you can see these legs have tons of setae on them still. Those urticating hairs that are the defense mechanisms and the sensory organs for the spider. You can also see the spinnerets that help them to make that silk platform in their burrow. And I do want to focus on the carapace for just a second. If you look, you'll see some little white dots there. That's where the eyes were. They've got 8 eyes, just like most spiders also have. I'm going to flip this exoskeleton upside down now so that we can take a look at those awesome fangs. These fangs are about 1 inch long, so it helps them to take down larger prey some bigger amphibians, lizards, possibly. And if they can get a bird as well, but it's not as common. So this is a pretty cool little artifact for us to look at, and helps us to understand tarantulas a little bit better. Well guys, just want to say thanks so much for joining us at the Ogden Nature Center and for SpiderFest. Hope you learned something about tarantulas, and get out there this autumn and see if you can find some tarantulas running around. It's a really great experience to see. Alright guys, we'll see you next time. Have a good one.